Guys, so welcome back to another episode of the Capture the Moment podcast with me and my buddy Lamar here. We've been talking, actually, we should have probably been recording, but we were talking a little bit. I was voicing some concerns that I've been having lately as Invincible Versus comes out, and I've been trying to play it. I'm not comfortable with the button layout. I feel like it's a weird situation because the game is so simple yet has like 10 to 15 technically like kind of game mechanics in it, and I feel it's almost a tad overwhelming to remember like the counter tag and the boost special and all the stuff. And I'm just feeling that like recently, I play Marvel 2 and I play online and I run against tryhards, or my stuff isn't coming out, or whatever, and I just feel like, man, I'm getting my ass beat in Marvel 2, and I'm getting and I'm struggling to what I feel like play at a level that I feel like I should, being a player who used to compete at a pretty decent level, like maybe not the highest in the US, but like definitely able to go to a tournament, a local or even a major, and get a few wins, against some of the people, in Marvel 2 or Marvel 1 or some of these different games. And so it's frustrating to me, and I've really been debating and contemplating, like, should I just, give up on trying to play these games? If I can't play them at a level I feel like I should, or if I don't enjoy playing them at the level that I'm at, like I don't want to play fighting games and be an absolute scrub. Like, to me, I'd rather not even play the game, like, it's like, well, damn, if I'm that bad, then shit, like, hang it up, But,
you bring up a real good point. Why do we love fighting games? Do you love a fighting game enough that you would just play it, like, even if you didn't have a human opponent to play against? Or would you get tired of just playing against the computer? Or do you feel like that's the whole point of playing the fighting game, was to get good enough so I could play other people? I mean, so...
Yeah, I mean, I've never really been in that situation, Growing up in arcades, we had, between Space Station, Wizards, Butterfly, in that era, I mean, you'd have... it used to blow my mind. I'd go to the arcade and I'd go there to play people because I was always competitive and trying to get better and trying to, whether I took losses or would win, either way, I wanted to play against people for that challenge. Did you ever run into people, or were you ever like this, where, like, I would run into people, they would wait, so they'd play me, I'd beat them, they would stand there, wait until I played all the way through the computer, and then they would get on, hoping that I would let them play against the computer. And I was like, well, we're here at an arcade. Like, we're kind of here to play each other, but, like, they wouldn't want to lose. They would want to, like, oh, I can, and these people were decent enough that they could play through the computer and beat the game. So, like, okay, if they were going to do that and play the game for, like, 20 minutes, go all the way through, and I'm like, why wouldn't you want to play me? Like,
well, because they're probably trying to stretch their money.
And I get that, but like, but again, it's like, to me, the competition was always the draw in an arcade, not, I mean, other than like, okay, playing a Crazy Taxi in the arcade and playing for an hour on 75 cents or 50 cents, yeah, that was dope. Or playing a pinball game for, an hour, or getting free balls and a free games and stuff. That's different. A fighting game, I feel like the main purpose is to play against people. I mean, if you're going to play against the computer, play at the house. Like,
there you go. Yeah.
I don't know. I just was never like that, And I would end up, on Ultimate Mortal 3, and I'd be playing through, remember the towers, and you could keep going through the game over and over and over, and I'd have human smoke or Airmac or something, and just go through it like 10 times. Like, you know, while I was waiting, and people would be like thinking I was gonna beat it, and then they would get a turn, and they're like, "Man, you can keep going," and I'm like, "Yeah, come on, play me," and like they just sit there, and they're like, "Oh, you're too good, man. I don't want to play you," and I was always the opposite. I would see someone good, I would be like, "Dude, let me at him," you know, like
That's how I was. I'm sorry, go ahead, bro.
No, I mean that's just how I was at the arcade, you know.
Yeah. That's all. Only fighting games that I was ever really that good at was Samurai Showdown 2, and that's because I had a Neo Geo. I was, lucky enough to have one, and I went to the arcade, to destroy people. That was the only game that I could destroy people in, and it felt great to put the quarter in and go through the game with 1 quarter. That shit feels great. Then people hop on and you destroy them 3, 4 in a row. Then still finish the game, but they didn't know, obviously none of them knew I had a Neo Geo at the crib, but yeah, I get that feeling, but now that we're older, it's like, and one of the main reasons, like I told you before, why I never really got good at other fighting games is because, I didn't want to keep spending the money, like, and I wanted to get good at everything, and it's like, shit, at this rate, I'd have to come to the arcade with at least $50 to $100, just to pump quarters in just to get good, like if I wanted to get good at Street Fighter or KI, which I never really got great at, especially KI. Street Fighter, I think most of us got better at it when it came to the home consoles, and now with online, dude, it's like, there's no excuse. Either, back then, we avoided to play people because we didn't want to lose. And now it's like prime example too, with the Invincible beta. I was watching those guys, play the beta a couple of weeks ago, and so many people were just quitting.
Yeah, the rage quitting.
The rage quitting. It's like, dude, you done already, especially now you done bought the game, you're just playing online. If you're going to lose, just lose the grace and get better. You paid your one price. It's not like back in the day where you had to keep popping in quarters. If you lose, you know what I'm saying? Now you're out of money.
The thing. People cry about a game being $60, $70, even with DLC, whatever, 80, 90.
Yeah.
I mean, I was dropping hundreds at the arcade, over weeks, over months. I mean, dude, a game like San Francisco Rush and 2049 and these games that I loved back in the day were nothing but just money suckers. Like, it'd be $1 to play, 75 cents to play, and, you'd play a friend, and then you'd both lose, and no matter who won. Like, it was a lose-lose. It's like, it was fun to play against each other, but at the same time, it was like, dude, I mean, this is ridiculous. Like, hold on a second. What's that? No, actually. Do you need me to move? Okay, no. It's just been like one of these things where it's like there's certain games where, I mean, the design of the game at the arcade or whatever it is were designed to make you spend money,
they were.
These T2 arcade games, these Simpsons, beat 'em up, X-Men arcade, Simpsons arcade, TMNT arcade, where it's just, or that, what was that other game, what was it called, City something, and it had the 4 players, they all looked identical, but it was like yellow, blue, pink, and green,
I remember Crime Fighters.
Crime Fighters, that's it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And the quarter, you could put in $9.99.
Yeah.
And it was like, and people would sit there with buckets of quarters just feeding it in, and like, you can basically beat the game guaranteed if you have enough quarters. And it's just like, even, going back to like Double Dragon and, old school stuff like that, where it's like, you could get good and learn patterns and minimize how much you were spending, stay on a game, or maybe even beat it like in one go if you were really ridiculous, but that's the thing, man. It's just like those games were designed, the head-to-head, that, okay, you beat your opponent and then someone else, and especially on a busy evening where, there's 10 quarters up on the machine. I mean, that was it. That was the dream back in the day. It's like going there and like, no, okay, there's 8 quarters up, and put yours up and try to remember what place you're at. Oh, I'm after you. Okay, whatever. And like, that was the whole draw of the arcade.
Yeah,
and so
for
me, cowering and saying, like, my thing is just for my own personal gratification. Like, if I can't play at somewhat of a decent level, if I don't think that, if I play a game and I'm like, man, these mechanics, the button layout, something isn't working for me, I just can't seem to feel comfortable playing it. Here I thought I was kind of catching on to 2XKO, and then I watched that tournament, and I'm like, I don't even know what they're doing. I can't even see what they're doing, let alone, and I was like, it made me realize how terrible I was at the game. I'm like day 1, and these guys are day like 500. And it's like a completely different game, And again, we talked about a little bit with like the game's been out, but it hasn't been. Like it was either out on Steam or it was out on, beta tests or
Steam,
whatever.
Beta tested on Steam.
But yet it didn't come out officially on Steam till after console, which then that makes no sense. Like, wait, Steam got the betas, but then they don't actually get the real game. But yet somehow they were throwing tournaments in the game at those local venues like, Frosty Faustings or whatever, and they'd have a tournament of it. And so I don't know if it was like 2XKO gave them an early build, say, hey, throw a tournament for it or something that'll work on either your consoles or it'll load up on your computer and you can do it on there, because they had like multiple tournaments. I mean, Sonic Fox playing against Diaphone, and like these different ones, like and what's his name, Super Noon, and some of these players that I had already seen in tournaments of the game before the launch of the game. Like they had 3 to 4 to 5 tournaments that would be on either TNS or it would be on something else. And I'm like, well, wait, like, how are they getting access to the game? Do certain players maybe have access to it to play at their house, where like they can just get in training mode and learn all this stuff ahead of other players? Like,
which is bullshit, because, they should have learned their lesson with the cracked Street Fighter 6 beta, Remember that shit, that debacle, and they call themselves, I guess, when, maybe it wasn't a big deal with 2XKO, but I also heard that the reason Invincible Versus got released so close after the beta was because they didn't want that to happen with that game. Well, they kind of tried to want everybody to be on an even playing field, for the most part.
MVCI had the same issue when I don't know if you weren't probably really paying attention to the game since you weren't into it, but when the DLC was about to come out and the first 6 characters were going to come out, there was going to be more after that. But when those characters were coming out, Filipino Champ, Yipes, Combo Fiend, they were like at Filipino Champ's house playing, and they were putting up videos of them playing as Venom, playing as Winter Soldier, and those characters were not out yet. And everybody was like, what the fuck? Like, how do they have the characters? And this and this. Because Combo Fiend was a developer with it or a game tester for it. Because he was tied in with it, I don't know if he could just bring it with him, like on Steam or on a computer, and load it up and play, or how it worked. But I was like, how is that fair? Like, and that's the thing. Like, and that kind of, there was like favoritism for certain players getting like early access, and you get your Justin Wongs, your Maximilians, your all these players that clearly are cool with a lot of people in the industry, the higher ups, player wise, the higher ups with some of the people like the devs, and it's crazy. And then like, who is it that's tied in with a couple of these games. There was a couple names like Apology Man and what's his name? That one Marvel player, Marlon Pye. There's been a couple players that they've either been character designers or like game testers for a couple of these. So like Apology Man was at the tournament playing the game and whatever, and they were like, oh, he's so sick, whatever, and like, but if he's a game tester, he should be really good. I mean, if he knows all the stuff for Temu or whatever, and some of these are Timo and some of these other characters, that it's like, yeah, of course he should be really good.
Right.
And same thing, Combo Fiend, when he first, he was putting the work on some of the players, and it wasn't long before Sonic Fox was beating his ass, Filipino Champ was beating his ass, and here he's like a game tester, and he's had access to the game like all this time ahead of us, and he's getting beat by the top pro players, and Cloud 805, and then the game was just, it's gone, it's done, and I still can't get over that instant tag system in MVCI felt so good and so clean. And I don't know why, but to me, 2XKO and that tag system feels clunky as hell compared to that. Now, maybe if I had never played MVCI, like maybe that would have solved it. Maybe I wouldn't. But the muscle memory for me, going from MVCI to 2XKO is really rough.
Yeah, it's like you gotta relearn how the tag system even works.
And unlearn. Like unlearning is harder than learning.
Yeah, right. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
And that's some of the complications and the struggles that I've been having as a semi-pro Marvel 2 player who played at pretty decent heights, in Marvel 1, Marvel 2, some Street Fighters, I played the Anniversary like crazy, but it was one of these situations where I was the only one playing. I would play with different friends, my friend Chad, Terrell, a few different ones, but by that point, it was already out of the zeitgeist. Like, it wasn't at any local arcades, and it didn't have any online play at the time. So it was like, I'd bring it over on like a PS5 or PS2 or PS3, emulated or whatever, but like nobody really wanted to play, and people that were willing to play were super rusty. Like, they hadn't played Street Fighter in 10 or 15 years, and here I'm up on all the tech of every single version of every character, knowing like, Champion Edition Chun-Li can hit Bison out of his Psycho Crusher almost every time with her jumping short or her jumping forward, and like, Honda's Body Splash will beat the Psycho Crusher with, down medium kick, like all these different things, and it was like I was the only one locally willing to play it, so I just gave up.
Yeah.
There was no competition and no desire from anyone to play it.
Well, I got two questions for you regarding Invincible versus. Like, okay, one, are you going to keep it, or are you going to?
I don't know if I don't think I can get a refund. I think if I would have done it in the last week, I didn't even know how. I think I would have had to look up like PlayStation and go on the app and submit a ticket for like a refund or something. But since I have it, I guess I'll keep it. And I might put in a little effort in training mode to try to get comfortable with but I'll tell you, I'm probably not going to mess around with a whole lot of characters because, I want to get familiar with, okay, like I'm playing these three characters. Hopefully they're decent, Justin seemed to have some pretty good luck with Battle Beast. I was thinking like maybe Battle Beast, Invincible, and I don't know, maybe Adam Eve.
Okay.
But
so they got a few new ones now. I see since you got the full cast. I said you got Invincible, you got Conway.
Yeah.
You got all the extra people from the show. Okay. My second question is this: do you think you people be ready for Avatar, or are you fearful that because these new games have these crazy new mechanics that Avatar probably be something similar?
I'm hoping that Avatar is actually like the perfect go between, or the perfect combination of situations. It looks wild, it looks crazy, but because of it being one-on-one, I think it's gonna feel more like playing something like a Marvel 2 or a Marvel 1 one-on-one, you know, like just without really having assists. So I don't mind if the game is crazy. The problem in 2XKO is I can't seem to wrap my head around the tag mechanics, and like I feel like I'm like, wait, it should be instant, but it's not, and then I have to hit it again, and then I'm over here, but I feel like I should be in control of my character instantly, and so then it, I'm having a really hard time with like setting up any kind of stuff in that game, other than maybe like, okay, do a move, tag, bring in that character, that move goes, and then maybe try to follow it up with a combo. But the kind of stuff that they were doing in the tournament, I was like, I don't even know how, like they would tag, do 2 moves, then tag back and be on the other side and be like sandwiching the character, and they would keep going back and forth.
I saw that crap.
and I'm just like, damn, dude, like, how does this even work? And it feels so fast. So it's like for it to be 2 characters, the tagging and the speed of the game, and the mix-ups and the high-lows and the grabs and the whatever, and the it feels a bit overwhelming. And again, when some of these players have been playing it for months and months, and it just seems like it's like, well, if we were all starting at the same level, I might not feel so overwhelmed. But that's one of the reasons I'm really hoping that this Avatar doesn't have tons of betas, that all these players like Diaphone get their hands on the game and get to play it for weeks and weeks and weeks, and they're going to be online destroying us, where like we're going to be like they were in the beta, where
I already was looking at Diaphone. He went live today, and his thumbnail is Invincible versus Road to number 1 on the leaderboards. And
you'll probably he had that, and Justin had that, and Justin had number 1, and I guess he knocked him off or whatever. But again, it's like this and some of the stuff. I mean, it's just it's crazy how fast some people acclimate to like a new fighting game. And it's funny, like there's some players in the FGC like L.I. Joe who, like, they're super strong players. They learn the games faster than almost anyone. They'll get to a point where like you'll see them at the first tournament or 2 for every single game that comes out. And then by the 3rd or 4th tournament, they're not good enough to compete anymore.
That's
and
crazy.
It's crazy. Like, I mean, Joe made it to EVO. The first EVO that Street Fighter 6 was there, he made it there with Charlie. And then by the next EVO, I mean, he couldn't hang, by 10 more, 5 more characters being added, and balance adjustments, and other players and just leveling up their playing skill. He couldn't compete anymore. And that's the thing. It's like certain players are like that. Like they'll find something cheap and really good and learn the in and outs of the game like super fast to be able to play at a really high level early on. But then they can't ascend to like a super high level. They kind of get stuck at that high level. Either they're not willing to put in the dedication to keep leveling up their game, or they get complacent, or maybe they get bored. If they're winning a lot in the beginning, maybe then they lose interest or something. I don't know, but And stuff like that is crazy to me, you know.
It is. It's like, yeah, they learn quick, but then they plateau fast. And then
Mm-hmm.
next thing you know, they're not able to win at all. You know, of course, maybe online, but in tournament setting, they have no chance really. Probably barely make top 8. You know, but it's crazy, bro. You know, me personally, like I said, man, I kind of mad that I had to let you be the guinea pig and get him Invincible Burt versus, because I was waiting on your feedback. But I still like the demo, you know, the beta. I mean, the beta was pretty good. You know, I kind of got a hang of it. Like I said, I'm pretty familiar with that whole Killer Instinct bar combo system where you got to switch off to keep it going before the bar fills up. It takes some getting used to. But I already know you, bro. You put the time in, you'll figure it out.
That's the thing, though. Like, I don't have the time. Like, back in the day, the amount of hours I used to put into training mode was insane. I mean, dude, I would be in there all day, every day, practicing combos. I don't have the time for that, actually, and I don't have the patience for that anymore. To just be in training mode for, like, 3 hours, 4 hours, grinding out, like, getting... That's the thing. If I can at least partially catch on kind of quick, like Marvel Infinite, the second I had the buttons in the right layout that felt comfortable, I was like, dude, this feels very similar in some ways to Ultimate Marvel 3. So I was playing Marvel 3, and that felt like a pretty easy, jump from Marvel 3 to MVCI. You know, and that's one of the reasons that I clung to it so fast. I was like, well, the game feels very similar in a lot of respects. And then it's just a matter of, okay, and it's got this tag mechanic, and it's got these, few different things. It's got the gems or the stones and those mechanics that you have to, take into account. But other than that, the game felt like Marvel 3, like 2.0, kind of, in some ways.
Yeah.
And, I don't know, man. I just, so it was easy for me to learn, to play at a decent level. Again, maybe I wasn't the best. Maybe I'm not doing as good as some of the players, but I was able to play at a decent level, and that's really the main thing. There needs to be a certain level that I can play at for me to enjoy a game. I don't need to win every match, but I need to be at least a little competitive. And if I'm total ass, it's just not fun for me. I don't enjoy playing.
Have you got online and played anybody yet?
No, dude, I haven't touched the game. I didn't even get one match in during the beta.
Yeah, me neither, man. It was crazy. Yeah.
So I haven't played one real match. So, maybe I will one of these days on a weekend or something, but, I'll have to see. So.
Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, I went to that day. We both were trying to remember because we had to do like our qualifying matches.
Yeah.
And it's like it never let me even find not one person to even do that with. So.
Yeah. So who knows, man? I'll mess around with the button layout a little bit more, see if I can find something that seems to work for me. And that's it. But some of these games or some of these arcade sticks, I've seen these arcade sticks where there's like, instead of 8 buttons, there's like 10 buttons or 12 buttons. Wow. And I was thinking originally, I was like, damn, what would you need all these buttons for? And then you get into some games like this where there's so many presets, there's multiple button combinations that can be set to one button, like, oh, hit this button to do a level 2, hit this button to do a level 3. And what I didn't realize is, like, for the level 1, and then in order to do, I think it was, you had to do like forward in the button combination, it wouldn't trigger in neutral, and I was like, why is this not working? And then it's like, oh, you have to do forward because then back in that is a different super. So forward and whatever is one super, back in it's another, and then you have your level like 3 or whatever.
Yeah, I think the assists are similar too. Like the whole back and assist is different, and assist
Yeah.
by itself is different. Yeah.
I just don't like the placement of where where I feel like they have to be with the button config. I want them to be like Fierce and Roundhouse. That's where Marvel has always had their assists like that. Like Marvel 2, Marvel 3, it's been one above each other as the outside two buttons. And this one, if you play it like that, then it's like it doesn't work right. Like, because you need to be able to hit multiple buttons together, and then they're all in the wrong place. And I'm, trying to do like short kick with fierce punch and medium punch. It's just like, I'm like, it's such a weird 3 buttons to have to hit if I place it there. So I can't place it there. So then I have to play with a button layout that I don't really like because of the way that the game is designed to have these quick, to do the supers.
Yeah.
So
it's like,
I'll see, man. I'll give it maybe a little bit more time, but I definitely was feeling. I hope Avatar will be a little bit more up my alley and feel a little. I don't even know what that is. Like if that's a 3 button, 4 button, 6 button.
Aren't they gonna have another beta before that drops, right?
I don't know.
I hope so. And I hope it's a public one too.
All right, man. Well, I'm going to let you go. I'm at the house, so I will talk to you a little later, and we'll catch up another time.
All right, man. All right, man. Yep.